So tell me about that relationship with the mentee and how that has evolved over the years.
It's taken about like 2 years for that to really feel solid. Do you have a favorite piece that we've worked on?
I do have a favorite piece, actually. I think that my favorite piece was probably, which was way back when, which was probably Pachelbel Canon in D or Trainwreck.
Solid.
Which were two pieces that I worked on for a very long time.
So at the very beginning, I was still figuring out how this whole thing worked. I guess so was she, but I felt clueless. So I was still figuring out like, okay, I've been doing piano lessons for like years. I've forgotten everything about what it felt like to start. So I was trying to navigate that part again of what does it mean to be a beginner student? What's important? What do I need to learn? What do I need to give Marissa so that she can feel prepared to start? And from there, it's developed to understanding what she knows about music, what she wants to do with it. And I think the true moment I can say we bonded was when we had a 5-minute discussion about cheese at the start of our lesson. And that's when I thought like, wow, this isn't just somebody I'm teaching piano to. This is somebody who I understand, who understands me, and we're like getting along and doing cool things with the piano as just our interface between each other. Oh yeah, so forgot to mention something. So she does a lot of sliding between notes in this, right?
Yeah.
You can kind of hear that when she's singing. You know about these things. We call them ties. What does a tie mean? Now she'll just pick up a song that says like, oh hey, I've been listening to Trader by Olivia Rodrigo a lot recently. And I'll say, okay, here's some chords for it. So we've been working on that for a while, and now I finally got, I like transcribing things, so I transcribed the melody. So we're gonna work that into it, so that way she can play that tune. From the very beginning of, how do I teach somebody? How do I connect over an experience that I only had 10 years ago, more than 10 years ago at this point, to, okay, what can we say? How can we talk about like the meaning in music? That's where we're at now, and that's very fun.
How do you talk about the meaning of music?
Like we had a little bit of that earlier today. It was, this moment in the bridge of the song, and there's this chord, and just as we were playing it just kind of stands alone. But it's like somebody intentionally put that chord in the piece. Feel, that kind of thing. So in that case, we actually do play both of those notes. And the way you tell which ones you play and which ones you don't, if it's a tie between the same note, that's a tie. You don't play it again. If it goes from one note to another, you do play it. We call that a slur, and a slur means you just want the notes to feel connected to each other. They're part of the same word. They're part of the same thought. You're still a traitor. That's a big note slide. So there it's not just between 2 notes, it's between 3. Because she's just holding out that one note, but sliding. Maybe it's just filling space because the writers just needed a chord to put there. But we can give it a purpose. What is that purpose? So we talked about, what does that chord feel like? What is it doing? And then how can we make it do that? What's the best way to make it do that? So we started working on that and ended up just deciding, okay, if we play that chord stronger here, hold it out a little longer, it feels bigger. It feels like the introduction to something new. And that's the meaning. Being able to have those sort of conversations, that's really opened up in the last year or so. And that's very cool, to me at least.